Thank you.
Yeah. Remember your wedding?
Okay, good evening. And let me use this chance to welcome the shareholder class of 2013.
I said it 4 times.
Including the 500 children who are here. We have almost 1,500 people celebrating this weekend. And you become shareholders in one of the most interesting times in the history of American medicine, the time of healthcare reform. And I can't think of any group of individuals better able to overcome the challenges that you will face and the challenges that we will face in the years to come than the class of 2013. And I can't think of any group of people better able to seize the opportunities than the people in this room. There were 4,000 people who applied in your year, and you were the best and the brightest of them. We had very high hopes, but you've exceeded even our highest hopes and helped us to be the best in California and a model for health care in this country. Big hand for yourselves. Thanks to the work that you and your colleagues have done, we are the #1 rated program in the United States in quality. You've lowered the chances of patients dying from heart disease 30% below patients cared for in facilities around us. The chance of dying from sepsis, 40% below facilities around us. The chance of dying from AIDS, HIV, 50%. If every American received the care that you provide, there'd be 200,000 fewer heart attacks and strokes every year, and 70,000 people would not die of cancer over the next 5 years. A big hand for the quality. But it's not just quality. You've done the same in access and in service. Where we were ranked the best, once again, in California, in the top 10 of the nation, both for the commercial group, those under 65, and Medicare, those over 65. J.D. Power and Associates scored us 100 points above our competitors on service, on perceived value by our customers, our patients. And we've become the place simply where the best doctors in America want to practice, today receiving over 10 applicants for every opening. And when I asked them, why did you pick the Permanente Medical Group? They all say the excellence of my colleagues. An opportunity to work with the best doctors in the United States, the best, simply attract the best. Once again, congratulations on all that you have done. As new shareholders, you inherit a huge amount. You are now the owners of the largest medical group in the United States, with 7,000 physicians, 30,000 staff, and with direct responsibility for the Mid-Atlantic Permanente Medical Group, with an additional 1,000 physicians and 500,000 members. You're the owners of a medical group with an annual revenue of $10 billion, that's with a B, dollars, $1.6 billion in capital investments every year, and the largest research facility, the TPMG Division of Research, the largest facility outside the government or a university in the country, with over $100 million in grants each year, and the largest DNA sequenced gene project in the United States. You have inherited a huge amount, but most importantly, I believe that what you've inherited This is a 70-year history. A 70-year history that goes back to when Dr. Sidney Garfield, went into the Mojave Desert. And he went there to provide care to the workers building the California aqueduct. And I don't know how many of you have ever been to the Mojave Desert, but he certainly did not go there for the scenery. And he did not go there because it was such a wonderful place to be, unlike Monterey. He went there because there were workers who needed health care. And he could provide it, and no one else would. And that's the mission-driven spirit that you've inherited as shareholders. I love to tell the story about when the tsunami struck Southeast Asia. It was the day after Christmas, and I was in the office, and I got an email from a physician. And the physician asked, what is TPMG going to do in response to this devastating tsunami in Southeast Asia? Now think about it. Why should TPMG care? 10,000 miles away. We probably had no members there. But it was the right question, because that is the mission-driven spirit that you've inherited from Dr. Garfield. And so I sent that an email. That was the week of Christmas vacation. A lot of physicians had gone, but I sent that an email. And of course, I had to give informed consent. I said there's maybe no food, maybe no clean water, and a civil war has been going on for 20 years. But if you want to go, we'll send you. Over 200 physicians volunteered. We sent 10 teams of physicians into Southeast Asia and saved tens of thousands of lives. And that story got repeated again when Katrina struck. It got repeated again when Haiti happened. It even happened after the nuclear disaster in Japan. Although the government did not need any volunteers, there were people volunteering to go into an area contaminated with radioactivity. That's the spirit that sits in the group that you've inherited. It sits in our conflict of interest policy, which was passed 9 years ago. It's the most stringent conflict of interest policy in the United States. And last week I had the opportunity to write an op-ed on your behalf that was published in the Wall Street Journal, challenging the rest of this nation to match the ethical behavior of the physicians in this medical group by refusing to be bought off by drug or device manufacturers, refusing to ever put financial interests ahead of those of the patients. We have inherited that from the mission. When Dr. Garfield got to the Mojave Desert, he realized why no other doctors were there. The workers building the aqueduct got paid on Friday. They'd go to Los Angeles. They'd spend their money. When Monday came and they got injured or they got sick, they didn't have any money to pay their bills. They almost went bankrupt. And as you do every day in your practice, he saw it as an opportunity to innovate, and he created this concept of prepayment, 70 years ahead of its time. Workers would pay a nickel a day for themselves and a nickel for their family. And when they got sick, they would have the resources to receive the care. And he'd go around the work site, knocking down protruding nails, because in the pre-antibiotic era, a puncture wound with a mixed aerobic anaerobic infection had a 50% mortality. And you see that spirit continued in our medical group today, and the quality that we have. You see that spirit in an editorial in the New York Times last fall, lamenting the rate of hypertension control in this nation, 55%, and pointing out one exception, the Permanente Medical Group, where we have an 87% success rate controlling hypertension. And note the fact, they said in the editorial, if everyone in this country got the care you provide, 40% of patients who suffer a stroke, the morbidity and mortality for a stroke would have avoided it. A remarkable accomplishment, and the rest of the nation simply has to match your performance. Get a big hand for yourselves. One other example is the state of New York. Many of you may have read about a very unfortunate situation where a teenager came to the emergency department and was sent home and died from sepsis. And the state of New York just passed a law requiring that every hospital in the state of New York follow the protocols created by the Permanente Medical Group. Follow the sepsis approach that we have put in place, recognizing that through the care we provide, the chance of dying becomes 40% less. And Governor Cuomo singled us out as being the leader of this country and the model for the state of New York to follow. Again, a remarkable set of accomplishments.